Make the money. Don't let it make you.
There was a temporary injunction placed yesterday by a federal judge in Texas. He felt it was unconstitutional. He felt that the Corporate Transparency Act, the CTA, was unconstitutional, basically saying the beneficial owner's information should not be required. However, because it's a temporary injunction, that means that it can be overturned at any moment. It could be tomorrow. There's a good chance that this is going to become implemented anyway. And the reason is because the higher courts will overturn the lower court, and it'll go probably all the way up to the Supreme Court. There are some exemptions to the rule of filing the BOI. First of all, it was initially supposed to be due on December 31st. And it still may end up being December 31st. Again, there's a temporary injunction, does not mean that it will be permanent. It may stay that way. In a couple of days, they can change it. So the advice that a lot of sites are giving is to make sure you are prepared to file regardless. If you file it right away, it's completely up to you. But if they go ahead and say it is due, you will have to do it. The exemptions are like tax exempt companies, that would be nonprofits, things like that. All the large size businesses like banks, all these financial organizations, none of them have to file it. If you are a large corporation with 20 employees or more, you are not required to file this. And this is why I feel like this is a personal attack on small business owners to kind of find out what they're doing, what they own, what kind of money they're making. I think this is a way to cross-reference that information, because literally none of the larger companies have to do this type of reporting. And it's a smaller guy who really has least to like hide. So when they talk about financial crimes, it isn't typically the small business owner, but that's who they want to do it. And so I'm going to share I want you to go to the right site. So I'm going to show you the site that you need to go to, because there are many that you might see when you type in, BOI. You want to make sure you're going to the actual government site. And this site will actually take you to the correct site. So as you can see, it's FinCEN.gov/BOI. That is the legal site for the federal government. If you decide, do not go to any of these other sites, because you may go through a whole thing and they'll charge you a fee at the end, or it's not being directly transmitted to the federal government. So you want to make sure you're going to this particular site. There are two types of ways. You can e-file it, or you can create a PDF document. And for the sake of being online, we're going to do it online. So we're going to click the first one. So as I said before, you have the file PDF, or you can do the file online. And we're going to pick the file online. You have to agree. I want to go back to that really quick because I thought that was very interesting what this says. Oh, it's not showing me. But basically, it says that they have a right to look further into your information. So when you go into this, you're giving them the authority to look more into you. So I just want to keep just keep that in mind, because I'm thinking about the fact that we have a new administration that is Republican, all Republican, and the Republicans are the ones who like in the next administration want to get rid of a lot of the social programs. And not that it makes a difference if it's required, but I think it's nothing more than being aware of what's happening, and so that you are, prepared and not, doing the wrong things, and making sure you stay on top of things. You're gonna do, like I said, you're gonna click to get a FinCEN ID. Here you're gonna put your legal company name, any DBAs or assumed names here, any alternate names, you want to click that so that you have space to put them in. Then it's going to ask you for the form of ID. So you're going to click here. You're going to either use your EIN, social security number of your foreign country or something like that. But for this, we're going to probably use an EIN to associate with our business. We're going to put that number here, tax ID number. You're going to put your country here. Once you put the EIN, it'll pop up. And then same thing is going to ask you, what country? Then you're going to put your state. Now, this is all your business info. So this is state. You're going to put your state there. And then the address of your business here. So same thing, add your company applicant. So applicant number 1. So this would be whoever the beneficial owner is. If there's more than one, you're going to add an additional. So you're going to put in that FinCEN ID, your last name, first name, if you have a middle name, your date of birth, you want to put in a current address. Use your residential address because that's really what they're looking for. They're not looking for another business address. They're looking for your residential. Here, you're going to choose the type of ID, whether it's a driver's license, passport. You're going to put that in there, and then you're going to put the number associated with the ID that you decide to use. Again, you're going to put your country, your state, and then once you do the state, the city will pop up. Then they want you to upload a document of whichever that you're using, your ID, your passport, whatever that is. They want a copy of that. Same thing. So at the very end, this is the very end. You're going to put your email in, confirm it, your name, last name, hit agree, and then it will click to next. Do your reCAPTCHA, and that's it. That is literally the BOI. So again, this was designed to stop illicit financial crimes through the U.S. financial system. So this is why the BOI was created, the CTA, Corporate Transparency Act, which is the BOI's beneficial owners information. So they really just want to know who's behind these EINs and these articles. They want to know who's setting up these businesses. I don't know how they can find out financial crimes this way. I don't know, but I think it's a cross-referencing of different, I think it's meant honestly for different reasons than what they're saying. So the Texas judge yesterday ruled that this was unconstitutional to ask people to give this information. But there's a time where, there used to be, you could get 1 million EINs in one day, and then they changed it to only one per day. So, this this might become a thing where we can't get as many EINs because some people do get multiple EINs to do multiple things at different times. So maybe this is part of that. I'm not really sure what the point is, but again, there's a temporary injunction. So as of today, it is not required by December 31st. However, I read multiple articles that said that this can be overturned immediately because this is not a permanent stay. This was one judge, and they said based on the federal government, they are going to continue to pursue this. So even if it's not due today, it might be still due January 31st, still could be due December 31st. So it's not anything wrong with filing it. If you have nothing to hide you from doing it, just do it. But I would beware if you are getting any social program to maybe hold off and see if this will, be required because this could at some point affect you personally. So that's really it. Are there any questions?
No, but I did want to mention, Q, that, I work for the bank and we have to collect this information for all of our clients, and they have more than 20 employees. So I don't know, maybe it's called a FinCEN, but it might not be the BOIR, but I have to collect that on every client that comes into the bank that has any kind of credit facility or depository relationship, any type of um, accounts with the bank. So
So you're
I'm not.
collecting on your customer. The bank doesn't have to report it to the government. They don't have to report their information. So Chase
Okay.
Bank doesn't have to report to FinCEN.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yes. So it's the large corporations that don't have to report. But
Okay.
Chase is collecting for whatever their reasons are, but FinCEN does not require Chase to do it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So any financial institutions, any tax exempt, they put like minors. It's a large number of organizations outside of small business owners. Everybody else, don't have to report. It's just really small business owners. Because you think any business that has at least 20 employees is no longer a small business. So it's only meant for small business owners. And I can only think that it's a way to kind of like keep track on what small business owners are doing because you also know the majority of small business owners emerging and have been for the last several years are minorities and particularly Black women. So that just leads me to wonder why they want this information on small businesses. Again, I don't have no proof of that. It's just, kind of looking at everything and trying to understand why is it required.
I had a quick question. Regarding the address, you said we only use a residential. So that means you should not use a PO box or a visual address, anything like that there.
No, so in the very beginning of the application, it asks for your business address, but in the secondary part is asking for your residential address. They want to know what your residential address is. So make sure you put a residential because they're looking for the beneficial owner's information. They want to know where you live. So on the secondary, I think it's the second or third page, you want to put your residential address. Now, if your business address is a PO box, and if you know me, I don't do PO boxes because PO boxes are not legitimate business addresses. But you can put a PO box and if it accepts it, but they want an address. If you do have any questions, you can reach out to me at hello@qrogan.com. I think that at the end of the day, it will be mandated. I do believe that, like I said, the it's a very low court that said no, and based on all of the professional business insider pages I watched and followed, they all seem to think that this is just a small stop. It's not going to last any amount of time because the federal government is not going to say no. They're going to push back. That's what the federal government does. They push back. So they are saying that they are probably already filing their appeals. So,
Okay.
because it's a temporary injunction, they said that it can be reviewed at any time. So it can be overturned like next day. So, based on, the professionals out there in the world, they seem to think that it's definitely going to be required. It's just a matter of when is the deadline. So I guess if you can just do it and get it out the way, you see how easy it is, why not? But I do have quite a few of my own to do. So it'll take me a few minutes. But yeah, I plan to do it. I try to, keep on top of things because as a business owner, I don't like to let things go to the wayside. I always like to be on top of my stuff. And I like to practice what I preach. I don't like to be a person that's trying to teach others to do stuff or tell them to do stuff and then I don't do it. So I traditionally, if you see a video that I've done, I've already done what I said to do. So yeah, I'll be following mine.